Yeah, she actually had a hospital bag already prepared to go with all the personal items that she needed, for her stay in the hospital, sleepwear, personal items, hygiene stuff, little teddy bears, and her bag was ready to go, for her surgery. And then, the news came that she wasn't going to have it on the expected date. So, she was pretty. She was pretty down and out, for the most part. But like you said earlier, you really never know. If you didn't know her and know that she has this disease, you wouldn't know anything different. She's strong, so she takes good care of our household daily, and superwoman.
I know Jewel said when she came out, after Jewel got the news, everybody knew something had happened. And so Jewel said she came out and he was like, oh, she been crying. Something happened. And so, and Jewel was like, she was keeping me built up. And I was like, wow. And it just goes back to what her husband is saying, that she's that kind of woman. She keeping everybody else going. I was thinking about how, we on our driver's license it said we'll be a donor, if something happens. And I was thinking about what you said. So maybe you're going to be a donor if something happens, if you're in a car accident or something happens, and so you're willing to donate your limbs or your organs or something at that point. We want you to consider being a living donor, a person who will actually donate a liver or donate a kidney or whatever the body part is that you'd be willing to donate if you have one that you don't have to have, because we have two. That you'd be willing to donate that now and not wait until something happens. I mean, because like I said, I don't think people really think about that. We just think, if I'm in a car accident, they can give my body to science, or they can give my organs to somebody who needs it. But if we're thinking that that's what we want to do then, why can't we do something now?
Yes.
Exactly. Let's make that decision now.
If I could, I mean, the whole idea behind everything is to get the transplant prior to her needing dialysis, because that's another option, and you can still live a certain quality of life on dialysis. My father-in-law lived for 20 years, almost 19 years or so after being placed on dialysis, and he lived a good life. But there's with dialysis comes constant surgeries, because there's always issues with the artificial vein not functioning the way it should, or becoming blocked, and then you're constantly being under the knife because they're having to repair this thing. And with the transplant, that would alleviate all that. Of course, you have the medications that you have to take to make the transplant continue to work properly. But for me personally, I wouldn't want her to have to go through all the issues that come along with having to be dialyzed. Being on the machine 3 days a week and feeling the way that a lot of people that I know feel following the dialysis. It drains you of all your energy, and I would like her to continue to be able to live the way she lives now, and not be slowed down by this disease and the fact that she would have to do dialysis. So.
Let me ask you this, because somebody might not even know what dialysis is. So can somebody explain to us exactly what that is? It's
a process where you go in, and like I said, they insert an artificial vein usually into your arm, and they hook you up to a machine, and you're usually on that machine between 3 and 4 hours, and it pretty much filters your blood through this machine and takes out all the toxins that's in your blood and replaces your blood into your body. And any extra fluid that you have built up on you, it takes that off you as well. So.
All right.
And I'm sorry, that just replaces the function of your kidneys, because that's what your kidneys typically do.
Okay, if somebody wanted to become a living donor, what would they do?
They would contact the kidney transplant center.
Okay. Do they have one in every city, or?
I don't believe it's in every city, but
okay.
I have a number where they can call, and the person will ask them different questions. Mm-hmm. You can't smoke or drink. Mm-hmm. You have to pretty much be helping to be a donor.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the number she has here is for Banner Good Samaritan Transplant Coordinator Winnie Caskin. Phone number is 602-839-0210. 602-839-0210. Okay, so you told me just a little bit. Okay, they can't smoke, they can't drink, they got to be pretty much healthy.
Yes,
Is there
I'm
anything
A
else?
positive, so they can be A or O positive.
Okay, so the person that we need a donor, and the person that we need needs to be A positive or O
Positive.
positive. All right, what else do they need? We need a donor. Come on, let's tell us what we need. We got their attention right now.
That's basically.
I mean, basically, and like Joe mentioned earlier, that even though you're those blood types, they still do what's called a tissue test.
Okay.
So I mean, they'll check your blood type and verify that first of all that's okay. Then they'll do the tissue test, and then after that, then you have to do your chest X-rays and your CT scans, your dental records, and all the other tests that they run. I mean, it's an extensive process prior to saying, "Yay, this person is a candidate to be a donor."
Yes.
We're in Phoenix, Arizona. Do they have to be in Phoenix, Arizona?
No.
No.
Okay, so they would call this number, which
Yes.
is a Phoenix number.
Yes.
Then what would this person do? Direct them to somebody in their state or city?
No, they will fly them down.
Oh, they would bring them down for that. Okay. Okay, so they would be able to expect that they would be flown in
Yes.
and checked out here.
And the recipient's insurance covers the
My
cost.
insurance will pay for everything.
Okay, so they wouldn't even have to worry about that.
Right.
Okay, all right. Anything else they need to know?
Just to take it into serious consideration.
And you all understand this. While we're talking about this family, this is not the only family that's in need of a kidney transplant or some organ transplant. And so you don't know that it won't be your family next. And so what you do for somebody else, you got to know God will do the same thing for you. The Bible talks about bearing you one another's burdens, and we think about it in helping somebody with their financial issue, or we think about bearing somebody's burden by going over and washing some dishes, or doing some little thing like that. But this is bearing somebody's burden to the nth degree. We're talking about seriously bearing somebody's burden. My sister needs a kidney. Can somebody bear her burden? That's what I want to know. Can somebody go in and make this phone call to 602-839-0210? Can somebody make that phone call? And just because God said so, just because they feel encouraged to do something, can they make that phone call and then fly into Phoenix and find out if they are a match for her? Maybe they're not a match for her. Maybe they're a match for somebody else. But you know what? If you make that first step, if you try to bear somebody's burden by making that first step, I just believe that God is going to meet you there. And then He will make the effort on your behalf. Because you're in need of something too. Everybody's in need of something, right? Okay, so you make a step and let God make a step towards you. Knowing that if you can't, I know everybody can't give an organ. And I'm not trying to make somebody feel guilty because they can't. But if you can't give an organ, one thing I know you can do is pray. I want you to pray for this family. I want you to pray for other families. I want you to pray for other people who are in need of organ transplants. This didn't touch me till my sister came in here talking to me about it. And we were talking about it, and it was cool. While we thought we had a donor, I was up and good. And then last night she came and told me that fell through. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. It's time to stop talking about it and be about it. We can put something on YouTube. We can put something on Facebook. We need to get the word out that my sister needs an organ. And so for those of you who can consider it, I'm telling you, consider it. Maybe you can't help her. Maybe you won't have the exact match for her, but you might have a match for somebody else. You might have a match for somebody else. You guys, anything else you want to say?
Just, well, not to minimize the significance of having surgery because they all come with risk. It's a routine surgery, so, I mean, it's not like, someone's being on their deathbed and you're trying to save this person. This is something that the doctors do all the time, all over the world. So, I mean, whether or not that eases a potential person's mind to come forward and consider it, it's a routine thing these days. It's not something that's new and being experimented on. It's ongoing all the time. So.
Okay. Jewel, how long were you expected to be out? Off work and out, after the surgery?
Well, I met with the surgeon. He said that I'll be out of the hospital within 2 days.
Okay.
And he will bring me in back just for routine checkups.
Mm-hmm.
But it's off work, maybe 3 weeks, depending on what kind of type of work you do.
Mm-hmm.
So I just 3 weeks, 2 months.
See, and the reason I asked that is because you off longer than that to have a baby.
Yes.
But, okay, I'm just gonna say they have you off for 6 weeks to have a baby. So when he says it's not this major surgery, that just confirms what he was saying. You're going to be off 3 weeks. You're not going to be off 6 months. You're not going to be off out of your job for 6 weeks. You know, it's something to consider because it's not as bad as something else could have been, you know, when I look
It's
at
pretty
them.
small.
Yeah. And you're saying the risk is very small.
Yes, because when you think of surgery, you kind of get scared. But I'll talk great about it. And even after talking with the surgeon, I felt even better.
All right.
I felt even
Now,
better.
the thing also to keep in mind, Jewel is the person that's will pair up. So if you have somebody who needs a kidney, and she can provide the kidney for that person, you got somewhere to start right here. Raise your hand. She said she here, and she willing to do it.
I'm willing.
Okay, she's willing to do
I'm
it.
willing.
So we want to make sure that you understand that we're not just asking for something for nothing.
Yes.
She's willing to do it. All right.
You can also include my phone number if someone want to call. It's 602-299-2625. Sonji Johnson.
Okay, give it to her one more time.
602-299-2625.
Okay. All right, Sonji, we're going to give you the final word. You're the one that needs the kidney.
I'm just waiting and praying and hoping that someone step up and be a donor.
We need y'all. That's all we want to tell you. We really need you. And like I said, if you can't provide the kidney, you can't pray. And we thank you already for that.